assume that you're at the top of your class or close to it. You are going to do law review next year even though you don't want to. You enjoyed 1L in online school more than 2L. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison. It is nice to meet you. This is going to be the first sit down video that I'm filming in forever, and it is going to be reacting to your assumptions about law school. I'm gonna confirm some rumors and I'm also gonna debunk some myths in this video, so it's gonna be a good one. Just you sit back, we're gonna spill the tea, we're gonna get juicy. But first, I have to say a huge thank you to our sponsor of this video, which is none other than Dossier. You guys know Dossier is the brand that I've worked with for the longest time on my channel. I absolutely love them. I think they're a great company. They offer you luxurious perfumes at a fraction of the price, starting at $29 per bottle. These perfumes have become, honestly, just a staple for me. I keep them literally everywhere. I have so many bottles. I've given them to friends. I am just obsessed with them because I really do feel like their scents are classy, sophisticated, and they smell expensive, but you don't have to pay that price because I just cannot pay $200 for a bottle of perfume. One of the best things about Dossier is they do have a risk-free system, so if you do not like the scent, because I know buying perfumes online can get a little bit sketchy, just a little bit sometimes. If you don't like it, you can exchange it, you can return it, and they will give you your full money back. They also offer 25% off and free shipping if you buy 3 bottles at a time. So for my people that like to buy in bulk, my Costco members out there, this one's for you. You can buy 3 bottles, you can get 25% off and free shipping. I just got this one in the mail the other day and I have been so excited to use it because this is based off of a Tom Ford perfume. Let me show you the box that it comes in. It says iconic, oh no, I can't read backwards. Iconic scents, designer quality, no markup. Sorry, I was looking in the viewfinder, but this is the Ambery Cherry and this is based off of the Tom Ford Lost Cherry perfume. Each of the perfumes comes with one of these little cards that tells you the notes of the perfume. So here we have like cherry, almond, and cinnamon. I'm so excited. This is gonna be my new purse perfume. I'm actually gonna throw this in my work bag for when I start working this summer. So if I need a little freshen up in the middle of the day, Dossier's got me covered. Hold on, let me. Oh, there's also rose and jasmine and plum in it. I definitely smell the rose. I kind of like the combination of the rose and the almond, to be honest, with a little bit of cherry. Some of their scents, I will say, are a little bit stronger, so you really don't need a lot. This one isn't as strong, which I kind of like because I don't like to smell super perfumey. I just like a little bit of a hint of something. So this scent, the Ambery Cherry, if you're in the market for a more subtle scent, I honestly think this would be perfect for you. Once again, thank you so much to Dossier for sponsoring this video. Truly love the company, and if you want to check them out, I will have them linked in the description box, and you can use my code MadisonR10 for money off. Now we're gonna get into the video. So guys, do you like the green today? I kind of like, I don't know why I woke up and I just wanted everything to be green. I was like, my lights are gonna be green, my shirt's gonna be green, my makeup is gonna be green, all of it is green. So I hope you're feeling the vibe. I was gonna make matcha for this video so it would also be green, but I wanted coffee instead. There was a lot of mystery to law school before I started, and it doesn't need to be that complicated, so we're gonna get right to it. Okay, this one's an assumption about me. You get almost all of your readings done a week in advance. I assume you're super organized. Well, that's very sweet. In 1L, yes, during 1L, I had all my readings done at least a few days in advance, and I was super organized. You guys remember the whiteboard. 2L, there was a sharp drop off. Second semester of 2L, I didn't even touch a planner. I didn't even know what a planner was. I was the most disorganized I've ever been in my entire life. And as far as readings go, no, I didn't do the readings a week in advance. I didn't do the readings a day in advance. Typically I did the readings the day of, if at all. Just kidding. I would say I did the readings most of the time, but a lot of the times it was day of, and I feel like a lot of my 2L peers were the same way. I think just after 1L, you kind of learn the amount of reading you need to do to get by, and I'm not saying this is a smart approach. I think you should definitely do the reading if you have time, but when you're doing things like law review, you have your note, you have checks and polls, like you have a lot going on during 2L, so I think it's justified that like reading kind of takes the back burner. I hope to be more organized during 3L. Ooh, I like this one. 2L spring has been your favorite semester. School-wise, No. I think personally for me, it has been the best semester because I just feel like I experienced a ton of growth during my second year of law school in general. Like looking back on me as a 1L, I'm like, who is that? I'm like a completely different person and it's only been a year since then. So I think personally I've went through a lot of growth and I had a lot of fun 2L spring. I feel like I found a good balance between school and having fun, and I enjoyed a lot of my time during spring semester 2L. That being said, finals sucked. The class load sucked. Everything about it academically sucked. You think a B is a bad grade. Love your videos. Thank you so much. Yes, but I think most law students are gonna think a B is a bad grade. So WashU curves to a B+. So B+ is average, meaning that's like median. So if you get a B+, you did average. Meaning if you get a B, you did below average. So I think it's justified in thinking a B is a bad grade. Now, I've had times where I've thought an A- was like, especially in a class where I thought I should do well, I'll get an A- and I'll be like, oh, like that's not great. Like, and that gets nitpicky where you're like, okay, you still did like above average, so why are you complaining? I really shouldn't think that that's a bad grade, but I think that's just a consequence of the curve. Yeah, I would say I think a B is probably a bad grade. Like, I would not be happy with a B. So yes, but I think most law students would agree with me. You are going to do law review next year, even though you don't want to. Yes, I am. So law review was a lot of work. And when I wrote on to journal, I had no idea how much work it was gonna be. And I had no idea just the amount of time it was gonna take. Like, I think I logged 80 hours my first semester and 100 hours my second semester. And for that, I only get 1 credit hour each semester. So I got 2 credit hours total, which is a lot. But do I regret it? No. I complain about it all the time. I think that's one of the largest personality traits of 2Ls in general, is complaining about journal, because it is a lot of work for very little reward. But that being said, I am going to be doing it my 3L year. I actually did have some fun writing my note, and honestly, I think I've learned a lot of blue booking skills that I probably wouldn't know otherwise. So there have definitely been some benefits. But yeah, me and law review, sometimes we don't get along. A lot of times we do. Sometimes we don't get along. I assume that you're at the top of your class or close to it. I've said so many times that I am not going to disclose my grades just because I think it's tacky, and I know there are people at WashU that watch my videos and I don't want to, like, I don't know, it's just like something I don't feel comfortable like disclosing, but I do well. The amount of work I put in, I think, is representative of the grades I get. I think I do put in a lot of work, and I think my grades reflect that, and yeah, I'm definitely happy with where I'm at. And I will say that I've kind of maintained the same percentage since I've been at WashU, so things have not dramatically shifted from one semester to the next. I've maintained exactly where I've been since fall of 1L. Can you tell why do I get nervous talking about this? That's the one thing, is like, I'll talk about pretty much anything. When it comes to grades, like, it's so weird, but I hope that gave a little bit of clarity. You have to be a type A person to be successful as a lawyer or in law school. I've met a lot of Virgos in law school. And Virgos are generally very type A. I'm sorry to go all astrology on you, but I'm also a Virgo rising, so I'm pretty type A. I think law school kind of attracts that type A personality. I don't think it's necessary that you're type A. I definitely have some friends that are not type A at all, and they actually do pretty well. I think the stereotypical type A gunner type, like, yes, those definitely exist in law school, but there are a lot of people who are just like, I'm here, I'm gonna get my degree. I don't necessarily care if I'm at the top of my class, but I'm just gonna do my best, get a job, and leave. Like, I don't think it's everybody's like, oh, I'm super organized, I'm super type A, like everything has to be in order. Like, that's not the vast majority of law students. I think it might be helpful to have more of a type A personality as you're kind of learning how to balance all the deadlines and all the new responsibilities on your plate, but definitely not necessary that you're type A. Are all law students straight from undergrad, or are there students who have been out of school for a number of years? There is definitely a mix. I don't think there are a ton of us that came straight out of undergrad. I think a lot of people take like a couple years off, like 2 to 3 years off is pretty typical. And then there are some people that took like 10 years off. So I think if your age is what is deterring you from going to law school, like, that shouldn't be a factor. I think, you know, money could be a factor. It's very expensive. I think that is, you know, a proper deterrent. Like, hey, I don't want to take out $150,000 in loans to go to law school. That's fair. But if you're like 40 and you are deciding that law school is right for you, I do not think age should be a deterrent, because if you think about it, law school is 3 years. It's not a long time commitment, and if you're in school for 3 years and then you get to practice for over 20, like, that's still a very long career. I will never say that somebody should not go to law school just because they are older. Law school is cliquey and gossipy and can feel a bit like high school. I think even like adult workplaces can feel that way. Like, I think it's interesting. Law school is different from undergrad in that it's smaller. Since you have your section, like a lot of you are in the same classes, and like because of that, like people date each other, like there's some drama, there's some gossip. I found that my class, I don't feel is very cliquey. I think there are some people that I definitely wouldn't like get along with, but that's just like human beings. Like I just like people don't get along with everybody they meet. But overall, everybody's been really nice, and like obviously there are like friend groups, but I don't know, I've never gotten like a cliquey like high school type vibe from them. So I don't know. I'm like, I think maybe I'm lucky. Like, let me know in the comments down below if your class is extremely cliquey, because mine's not. But I've definitely heard that that's the case at some other schools. You enjoyed 1L in online school more than 2L. I'm gonna say half true. I think that's half true. I enjoyed having only 3 doctrinals per semester. Like my first semester, I had contracts, torts, and property. That was my entire life. I had legal writing, but like really not a ton to do. Like last semester, I had commercial transactions, I had corporations, complex civil litigation, and family law on top of writing a journal note and doing 3 checks throughout the semester. So I just had a lot more going on in 2L than 1L. And part of me liked logging onto Zoom for classes, but part of me likes going to campus. I feel like having that structure of having to get out of the house was really good for me, and 1L, I didn't have that. But on the other hand, 1L, I had a lot more time to study. And I remember 1L, every Friday for like 3 hours, I would just outline. I don't know how I did that now. I make my outlines like the week of the exam. I honestly, like 1L Madison, she was a different breed. She was awesome. Academically, I liked 1L a lot. It was so new and everything was super exciting, and I enjoyed that. 2L, I got out more. Like COVID obviously like has improved, so I was able to leave my house, which has been much better for my mental health. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, the 2L versus 1L question, I'm gonna make a whole video about the differences between 2L and 1L, so if you have any questions about like specific things, let me know in the comments, but that video will be coming because there are a ton of differences between 2L and 1L that I did not expect until I started 2L. And I was like, wait a second, I thought this wasn't my first rodeo. Why does it feel like my first rodeo? You come from a well-off family to afford law school and have had a good education your whole life. No, that's not true. This is all student loans, baby. Thank you to the government, plus YouTube. I always knew I was gonna go to college from a young age. I went to SLU for undergrad, have a little bit of loans from that, and then I have all of my loans from WashU, so that's like all on me. I love my parents, but WashU is very expensive and law school is very expensive, and I did not expect any help with my higher education at all. But no, I don't come from like a well-off family. However, sometimes when I go to the mall, I shop like I do, which is a problem. If you saw my monthly Starbucks expenditure, you would also think that I come from a well-off family, but joke's on you, I do not. You are an avid reader. I used to be. I have like 3 books in line that I need to read, but no, not anymore. I enjoy reading, I just don't make the time to do it. And every night I'll tell myself that I want to read before I go to bed, and then I'll read like 5 pages and fall asleep. So honestly, right now, most of my reading is like work or school oriented. You and or Nathan are in the top 10 of your class. I cannot speak on Nathan's behalf because he is not here, and I don't want to like expose information about him, but I will say he is one of the smartest people I know. Maybe I'm biased because he's my best friend. And we already kind of talked about my grades, so here's me getting uncomfy again because we're talking about grades. I don't know why it makes me so uncomfortable. That's so weird, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. Students are constantly comparing themselves to each other, and it's a constant state of competition. There's always that underlying, we're all competing against each other, but I don't feel like it manifests a lot in like things happening or people being like out to get each other. I'm usually pretty aware throughout the semester of the people around me, like in my classes. Like I'll size them up a little bit. I'll be like, sometimes I'm in a class and I'm thinking all of these people in this class are very smart. And sometimes I come to a conclusion that's not that. And the reason why I think that is obviously because of the curve. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm competing against these people. I think it's natural to compare yourself to others, especially when you first start law school. I remember somebody would have a really good cold call and I'd be like, what? Someone would have an amazing cold call and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, had I been called on for that, I would have had no idea what to say. And this person just had an amazing answer. I think the longer you're in law school, the more you realize a few things. First of all, the person who has an amazing cold call, that doesn't necessarily translate to being good at law school exam taking, so maybe their grades aren't as good as you think. And also just, I don't know, you have your own career goals and realize that as long as you can accomplish those goals, that's all that matters. I found that WashU, specifically my class, is a pretty collaborative environment. I've never felt any hostility at all. Sometimes there are fights in the group me, but it's not about law school academic stuff. It's just, I don't know, I've never really felt that, but I definitely remember hearing stuff like that before law school. So I came in with the notion that it was gonna be cutthroat. It's not. That you must have extracurriculars outside of going to classes so that it looks good on your resume. I remember I thought this before I started law school, and I remember at the club fair, I signed up for literally everything, and guess how many of those organizations I am a part of to this day? One. When you're first in 1L, I do encourage you to sign up for a lot of clubs. Just because, you know, it's a good way to meet people, and it can be fun, and you can learn about different areas of law for sure, and you can find community. But I mean, if you're doing it for the purpose of getting things to put on your resume, I don't necessarily think that's the best approach. I think most jobs would probably want a candidate who did one thing but did it really well. Say you have an organization and you're the president of that organization and you organize a ton of events for them. That probably looks better than somebody who's a member of 30 organizations. You know what I mean? Because what does being a member mean? Like, being a member means you show up and you take the free pizza and you leave, you know what I mean? And also, how are you gonna fit that on a one-page resume? I definitely understand the inclination to wanna join a ton of extracurriculars, but also don't spread yourself too thin and just realize you can join a ton during 1L, but you're definitely gonna find some that you're just like, I don't really wanna be a part of this anymore. So that's that. Even though you tell us that you hate a few subjects every semester, you ultimately pass that subject. Yes, I have not failed a class. So yeah, and I feel like I don't know if I've hated any classes. Maybe I have. I don't know, I've definitely had classes where I was just like, this isn't my strong suit, but yes, ultimately I can rally. However, I have noticed that my grades in those classes are not as high just because I'm not putting as much effort into them, just because I don't like them, but I still do okay. So yes, that's correct. All right, everyone, those were some of the spicy assumptions that you guys gave me about law school. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want a part 2, let me know because I'll definitely do it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done sit down videos in a while, so if you have any sit down videos you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments down below and I will do them. And thank you again to Dossier for sponsoring this video. Remember to use code MadisonR10 for money off, link in the description, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye guys.